know, it's a really ambitious video title. The ebbs and flows of life mean that sometimes things are great. We have all the motivation we could ever need and we really feel on top of everything. And then there are times where we're down. We stagnate. We even feel like we're going backwards. That is life, right? So I don't make this video for anyone in particular. No, this video goes out to all musicians, including myself. Following topics we're gonna discuss, they apply at any time. Whether it's the start of the journey or whether you're a seasoned pro. Us musicians have to look out for each other, because that's really what it's all about. Oh man, I think that was my train. Dang. Anyway, let's go busking. Okay, point number one I want to discuss. Start before you're ready. You know, Stephen Pressfield, the author of The War of Art, has a quote, "Ready is too late." You gotta get going, man. It doesn't matter if you don't know what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. You're gonna establish those things once you've started. Yep. I mean, that's a good day, right? Hey, are the train workers a busker? I don't think it matters where you are on your musical journey, whether you're applying this point to starting out or whether you're applying it to making your first album, your second album, starting a YouTube channel, making that ambitious video. You've got to start before you're ready, because once you've started, you'll become ready. And I think this ebbs and flows too. There are moments where it feels like I know exactly what I'm doing, and then there are many moments where it feels like I'm just going along with it, baby. But the important thing is I started. August Radio Project did not look like this when I first started it. I wasn't busking and I didn't have a YouTube channel. These are things that have come along with the journey, and although they were kind of part of the plan, I mean, I never would have executed them like I have if I hadn't started in the first place. Welcome to Worthing. Let's hope for a good day's busking. In her book, Improv Wisdom, Patrician Ryan Madsen says, "Don't prepare, just show up." And although I think there is some warrant in rehearsing and having some organisation to what you want to do, to where you want to go, she's right, man. Just show up. We get so lost in preparation that we can end up not doing the thing, not taking action. You know, I think we live in a time where overnight success is glamorized, right? That video that went viral, the first video they ever pressed publish on. Even young people getting super famous super quickly, you know, the 17-year-old breakout artist. And that dilutes all of the hard work that everyone else put in to get to where they are. All the long hours, the years that went by where they didn't have a clue what they were doing, you know. I love going down the rabbit hole of musicians and finding out that they had 7 albums before their breakout hit. You realise that there was loads of things that happened before they got to where you know them to be. It's exactly the same for you. Alright, point number 2 we're gonna raise is to stop blaming everybody else. The only reason it isn't happening is you. And it's the same for me. John Burroughs has a quote, "You can get discouraged many times, but you're not a failure until you blame somebody else." I think I can speak for all us creatives when I say that if we spent as much energy on our work as we did coming up with excuses and reasons why things aren't working out, we'd all be a lot more successful than we already are. And although I think that there are challenges always, you can be discouraged many times. These are there for us. These are there to help us learn. They shouldn't be used as an excuse not to do something. Okay, time for a story. Back in 2013, I graduated from university with a degree in popular music. That's what my degree's in. During my time studying, streaming, as in Spotify and all that, had just taken over the music industry. And I'm not making this up when I say it, but I had lectures where the lecturer genuinely told us that we should look at having a career elsewhere. That the music industry was there was no longer any money in it whatsoever. We genuinely had a lecture where a careers advisor came in and said, maybe this is best left as a hobby. Imagine saying that to a group of hungry students. By all accounts, I internalized that message. I thought, you know what, maybe we are all effed. All these people that supposedly knew what they were talking about seem to think so. And although I persisted on my dream to be in a band, to tour the world, I still believed that the reason I couldn't make a living doing music is for the very reason that the lecturers were talking about. There was no money in music, supposedly. I never bothered to try and find out until about 4 years ago, when I became August Radio Project. My point is I held on to the excuse. I would say that a lot of the reason the band never made a career of it was because I didn't believe it was possible. I just took what the lecturers had said as gospel, and I didn't believe that things would change. And the thing is, things did change. Things have changed. And I realise now that actually what they were presenting was a challenge, because things were shifting. And now I have discovered that there is money in this. You can make money doing this. A perfect case study would be to read 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly. If you haven't yet, then you go. It's a free essay, it's online. What are you waiting for? Got my license, so no one can tell me to move.
Belgium first, us and all the gear in my 5-seater. We had to make it work.
If you haven't read 1,000 True Fans, which you should, the basic premise of it is that anyone can make a living doing anything creative, even business-wise. If you can build a fan base of 1,000 people, if you can get 1,000 people to part with £100 a year in return for your art, for what you produce, then you make £100,000 a year. And that's a good salary. I mean, that's been my goal for August Radio Project the entire time. I read that right at the start of this journey, and I started before I was ready. Believe you me, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but it's starting to figure itself out.
These makeshift venues mean so much to me. Catching flies to the USA.
I think the honest truth is, anytime someone tells you something's impossible, that it can't be done, or that there's no money in it, or whatever the thing is, it presents an opportunity, like a good opportunity. I think it's when those things come up that they're the things you got to act on, man. It's going to be arduous, it's going to be difficult, no matter what. So you may as well go into the thing that you really want to do, regardless of what people try and tell you you can and can't do. Everyone is always basing their own opinions on their perception of life, and they aren't you. So don't follow the advice of other people's perceptions. Lean into what you feel called to do.
No, I don't think they could understand. I'll never hear what people do. These makeshift venues, they made me who I am.
The most common excuses I hear people say are things like, I can't sing, so I can't do what you do, or I can't play guitar because my fingers are too big. And it's like, no, you just believe that you can't. Don't blame things. Just try, and you'll start to work out that the whole time you've been blaming things. I certainly am a culprit of it sometimes. Why haven't I gone to Europe yet? I've been saying it for 3 years. I'm the reason I haven't gone to Europe yet, because I keep coming up with excuses. Not this year though, not this year. No excuses this year.
Oh yeah, I don't think that they could understand. Never hear what people do. These makeshift venues that made me who I am.
Alright, point number 3 I want to raise is to make great art. Don't waste your life away when you're a musician. Focus on making great art instead. This could be reconstructed as get really good at what you do. Like get really good at playing, get really good at singing, make great art. Be so good they can't ignore you. We get very caught up as musicians, as artists, in this day and age of like the online world of trying to get followers and trying to share things and trying to get your music out there, that you forget that like the most important thing is to make the music, for example, the best it can be, because music that is truly good, truly resonant, that really says something and makes an impact will find its way out there. Look at someone like Oliver Anthony and that Rich Men North of Richmond song. It's so good that it just couldn't be ignored, and it blew him up overnight.
It's alright to tell me what you think about me.
In the Seth Godin book, This Is Marketing, he talks about the first principle of marketing being that the product is so good that it just spreads by word of mouth, which is quite often the case for the best things, right? Like the things you use all the time, you tell your friends about them. You're like, oh, I got this thing and it's helping me out so much, you know. Even with songs, music, books, art, you recommend them to your friends, right? And that's your most effective marketing, but you're only going to get that kind of marketing if you make something good, if you make something great, something that's really, truly resonant.
Look in your face, timing and structure. Did you hear that he left her a day late by shore?
I think the thing here is it's about not bowing to the rules of commercialism. It's not about doing the done thing, right? It's about carving your own way. I always think about like Hi Ren. You know Ren makes music. It's not even a tune, is it? It's a piece of art, really. It's a video, film, song, I don't know what you'd call it. But it's excellent. It's like an incredible piece of art, right? It's resonant, it talks about very prominent things. But there's no way a major label would have let him release that. It's 9 minutes long to start with. You know, it's not a clean-cut pop song, 2.5 minutes long that suits the radio, that's about generic subjects. It's prominent, it's art. And that's why it's so successful, because it resonates. I just think we can get caught up sometimes in like all the other stuff when actually it's the art that's most important. Whether that's your songs, your videos, whatever that is. I think so.
I won't come back, and it happened once again. Sheltered into a brand.
I just can't get over how good you are.
That's so kind.
I just
How long
can't.
have you played for?
I've since I was like 14,
Okay, cool.
and now I'm 17. So
Oh, dude, you've got plenty of time.
I can see it's growing up.
The artist Helen Frankenthaler says, "There are no rules. That is how art is born. That's how breakthroughs happen. Go against or ignore the rules, because that is what invention's all about. Make great art your way. Make your own great art."
I guess it's growing up. I guess it's growing up. I guess it's growing up. I guess this is growing up.
Okay, I vowed that this year I'd add a new song to the set every month. So here is this month's new song, and we're very much epitomising the whole start before you're ready thing. I guarantee you I get most of the lyrics wrong. Just saying now, alright?
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, and I won't back down.
Ah yes, you want hearts, not eyeballs. You've got to stop worrying about how many followers, how many likes, how many subscribers you have. Start concentrating on winning hearts. If those followers, likes and subscribers are people who are there for you because they like what you do, because they truly are invested in what it is you provide, then that's great. But if you're just trying to get vanity metrics, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't get you anything. It's just vanity metrics.
Hey, I stand my ground, and I won't back down. Well,
Trouble with the way social media is constructed is it glamorizes these kind of vanity metrics, right? And that's what this whole point in Austin Kleon's book, Show Your Work, is all about. If someone can make it work with 1,000 true fans, There'll be people out there that can't make it work at all and they've got millions of subscribers. You know, we've all heard of the YouTubers that have over 1 million subscribers that aren't making a living doing it. Which one would you rather be?
Stand my ground and I won't back down. Woo!
I like to think of it in terms of longevity. Someone that's invested in you and your art and your success, they're likely to stick around, right? At the start of August Radio Project, when I decided I'd go on this kind of solo venture, one of the questions in my mind was like, how long do I want to do this for? And the answer is for the rest of my life. I want to make a career doing this for the rest of my life. I don't want to do anything else.
Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, stand my ground.
And I think the way to do that is to get an audience of hearts. Make sure I'm providing all you with things that are really valuable, that you get something back for your time that you spend here. Will it always be a YouTube channel? I don't know. Will it turn into other things? Of course it will. It's always going to be manifesting and evolving. But I'd take that over some major label deal that only lasts a couple of years. It gets me all the eyeballs in the world, but none of the hearts, none of the freedom, and none of the autonomy.
No, I won't back down.
And we can share hearts, right? I can like your stuff and be invested in your stuff, and you can like mine. Vice versa. It's not like you have to have fans, you just have to have a community that we all support each other. Freaking love Austin Kleon, man. That guy changed my life. Musicians support musicians. Alright, next point, I guess. So the next point I want to talk about is drawing inspiration from things that aren't music. I think this is really important for the musician's journey. I think you can get caught up in idolizing certain musicians' journeys and certain musicians' paths, and you start comparing your path to theirs, and you wonder why, you know, it's not happening the way it happened for them. You know, maybe they made it a lot younger, maybe they made it a lot quicker, which is why I like to draw inspiration from other places. I also think it's a key way to stay more original, more unique, more true to you. Let me explain.
Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. Ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Hey, cheers. I'm influenced by many a musician, and I definitely have some musical heroes. Green Day, Billy Joe, Say What? And although I would say some of my songwriting, some of the way I play guitar maybe is influenced by him specifically, I've tried my very best to just sort of draw my influences from everywhere, from everything. One of my biggest influences is Casey Neistat, YouTuber, filmmaker. I really find Casey's journey inspiring though, because he didn't follow the grain. He did for a bit. I'll let you research him if you want. But essentially he started off as a filmmaker and went down the kind of traditional route of making films, of producing, you know, feature films and documentaries. And then he turned his attention to YouTube because he realized there was an avenue there that no one was exploring. And he essentially changed the entire landscape of YouTube and vlogging as a whole. So I've tried to take influence from him in that way with music, instead of going the kind of traditional route and trying to do what, you know, the done thing is. Like, how can I utilize something like YouTube and kind of explore my journey? But not just for me, but for others. Like,
get paid, not that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break them over. Da 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 da.
And I think that you should do the same. Pick people out who have taken their thing and done it differently, and think about how you could do the same with music. That's how originality is really born, and I think that's what changes the course of things.
Stop coming and it don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and eat the ground running. Didn't make sense if I live for fun. Pray gets small, but the head gets long. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back street?
Trends only exist for so long. I think you're best to find your own way than jump on the bandwagon, you know?
And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Right, I think I'm going to finish up here in Worthing. It's been 4 hours, 4 minutes that I've played for so far. Probably lots of glare on the camera. Sun's come out. Take it as an obligation. That is the last point I want to talk about for this video. What do I mean by that? Let's dissect it. Easy work then. That was just over 4 hours of playing, maybe 4 hours 10 minutes. £75.97. But yes, taking it as an obligation. If you are someone that feels like you want to dedicate your life to music, then you have to. It's an obligation. I read Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist back in 2020, and that like changed my perspective on my life. I suddenly realized that it wasn't just for me that I should pursue music. It's like the fact that I love music so much and I want to play music means that I have to do it, not just for me, but for everyone. Because by sharing that part of me, by being true to myself, I give permission to others to do the same, but also they see me in the best light. And if we were all shining our best light, then we would all be better people. Society would be better. It's an obligation, man. And it's not just an obligation to others as well, it's an obligation to your younger self. Remember that moment that you decided you wanted to be a musician? That moment when you were inspired by, you know, your hero. The moment you decided to pick up the guitar or sing into the microphone. Harness that magic and do it for that person, that version of you. Drop the excuses for the sake of everyone that needs to hear you play, that needs to hear the messages in your song. This is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. That was a really profound lesson when I realized that. So it's one I want to get across, man. I think in those moments of really heavy self-doubt where you really are feeling discouraged, that's the best thing you can draw on, is when you realize that you've got to do this for other people, not just yourself. I'll end this one with a quote from the writer Elizabeth Gilbert. A creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life, a happier life, an expanded life, and a hell of a lot more interesting of a life. And I'd say this exactly applies to the musician. A musician's life, it's an amplified life. Dang, I freaking love music. It's so magic, so powerful. Right, best go home, I think. Cheers, Worthing. Might be some football on or something. Just heard a roar of cheer. I think that us musicians need to help each other, especially this journey is full of so many moments of doubt and discouragement. But we've got to keep at it. We've got to keep each other together, man. Support each other, make each other feel like we're all doing the right thing, you know. So feel free to add your own points in the comments below that are along this subject. Let's not waste our lives as musicians. Let's thrive together. It's a lovely day today. Right, that's me done. If you like this video, then give it a like. If you're new around here, hit subscribe. If you're a true fan, turn the notifications on, and if you want to leave me an online donation, you can hit the super thanks button, or I have a Patreon. Exclusive content on that Patreon every month, even some free merch. If you're a patron, go and look. I've sent you a code. Merch is obviously available for everybody. You can get it on my website. I've got some rad stickers. You'll have seen a few in this video. Perfect for your guitar case or your amp. And I will see you next week. New videos every Monday from me, August Radio Project. You can watch the one that comes up on the screen, or go and check out the many others on the channel whilst you wait for next week. And I will see you then. Peace, love, happiness.